Good morning. It is Tuesday morning, and I am going to recap what we have passed off the floor in the Senate last Friday and yesterday, Monday. So it is very busy. We are passing lots of bills, and so I'll be a bit concise, but as always, if you have questions about anything, reach out. Happy to chat and answer questions anytime. So last Friday, we passed 3 bills off the Senate floor. It really was a beautiful day of inclusion and really standing in our values of who we are as Minnesota. So we passed a bill on banning of conversion therapy for adults and for children and vulnerable adults. And really, this is a practice that has been discredited by every major medical organization. It has been actually defined as torture. There is evidence to show that children who experience this thing I'm not even sure what to call it. It's not actual medical, practice that should be done. But folks who experience this have significantly higher rates of suicide. It really is not anything that we should be having our kids experience. And so also something that has been worked on for a very long time. So very happy to vote yes to ban conversion therapy for children and vulnerable adults. We also passed the trans refuge bill, which, as we are seeing across the country, criminalization and attacks on our trans neighbors, really standing firm in our Minnesota values that we are a place for everyone. We include everyone. We welcome everyone. You are loved and worthy, and you belong just as you are. So that was sort of the connection of 2 bills, the trans refuge bill, and speaks to the conversion therapy bill as well. And so as we're seeing that criminalization in other states, folks are coming to Minnesota to both just be safe and to get care. So just making it very clear in law that our trans neighbors are safe here. And then the third bill we passed was the RFDA, the Reproductive Freedom Defense Act, which again, as we are seeing criminalization of healthcare and abortion care across the country, making sure that we are protecting patients and care providers here in Minnesota. So if they are being criminalized, providers being criminalized in other states where they are, enacting these very extreme abortion bans and criminalizing healthcare providers, that you will be safe here in Minnesota. So again, just really proud to stand in our values and say that, as Minnesota, we are a welcoming state. Everyone is welcome here, and we love everyone just as they are. So that brings us to yesterday, which we also passed 3 bills, but was really a package of education. And so really proud to vote yes on 3 bills, and I'll hit some of the highlights of those education pieces. The first I'll highlight is early education. So there were some pieces related to early education, which is something I've worked on and really important to me. That includes $300 million of investment in the early education space. Really something we should and are proud of. Early education scholarships, $270 million in early education scholarships, and then $20 million for Head Start. 4,000 seat expansion of voluntary pre-K and School Readiness Plus, and then some other additional pieces. $3 million for a Grow Your Own program for early childhood educators, something we need very much. $500,000 for Learning with Music, $1.8 million for Parent Child Plus, $500,000 for Reach Out and Read, $750,000 for Early Childhood Family Education Support at MDE, and $1.9 million for developmental screening aid. So lots of really good pieces that are going to help our littlest Minnesotans. And then we passed the education, finance, and policy bills both. So again, just that package piece for education. And so really we are seeing a historic investment into education. In total, this bill appropriates $2.5 billion, billion with a B, in the next biennium. And so absolutely something we should be proud of. I'll also just note that, in Minnesota, education has been underfunded for many, many years. And so there is a hole that we have dug there in that space. And, this one session is not going to completely overcome that. We're not going to do everything that we need to do this session, but this is a great start. And really, again, historic investment into education, which is exactly what we should be doing. So big picture, and some pieces I'll just highlight, is an increase to the formula. So 4% over the first year, 5% over the next year. Really, again, historic investment. $49 million to support personnel. So that goes to nurses and counselors, mental health experts, those folks who really support our kids in schools. And so proud for that piece. We significantly reduce what we call the special education cross subsidy. So we are required to provide services to kiddos with and special education services, which is absolutely what we should do. The federal government says we need to do that, but we are responsible to fund that, and so we have not ever fully done that. This gets us much closer to that. It provides $653.6 million in the next biennium to do that. Cuts down 40% of that cross subsidy in the first year, 60% in the second year. And then similarly, we fund the English language learner cross subsidy. So same thing, schools provide services to folks who English is not their first language, and this provides the funding for that. We cut that gap by 25% in the first year, 50% in the second year. So really, really important funding to get services to the kiddos who need it. This bill appropriates funds for the Increased Teacher of Color Act. We know that kids of color do better if and when they have teachers who look like them. We also know that our white students do better when they have diversity of teachers and instructors. This bill has money for libraries and the wonderful folks who staff those libraries. Library information media specialists. It includes the READ Act, so really looking at the science of reading and the evidence-based practice for how we teach our kids to read, and resources to help teachers help kids to read. So really, really important. It includes paid orientation for paraprofessionals. It includes $40 million for grants for after-school activities. It includes $14.5 million in full-service community schools. I love community schools. We have a number of those in Rochester. Shout out to community schools. More appropriations, $71 million total for that increased teacher of color and American Indian teachers. What else do I want to highlight? It has native language revitalization grants, statewide teacher mentoring program, really important as we want to be able to recruit and retain teachers. It includes menstrual equity, so making sure that we are providing menstrual products for all students. We don't ask students to bring toilet paper with them to school. This is just really an equity piece and something I'm proud that we are included here. So then maybe the last piece I'll talk about is, there's one other one unemployment for seasonal school employees. This is a provision I'm proud that we are taking on. So hourly school employees are sort of the last group of folks who have been intentionally cut out of unemployment insurance. And it's an equity issue, it's a fairness issue. It's historically, because these are often women and people of color, that they were just really excluded and written out. And it's time for us to right that wrong. So I'm really happy and proud that this is in this bill as well. So overall, historic funding for education, absolutely the right thing to do. I'm very proud of the pieces in this bill. If you have questions about any of those, please reach out. I will be back later in the week with another video. We are passing lots of bills this week. It's very busy. And notably tomorrow, Wednesday, is Democracy for the People, my Senate File 3. So very excited for that. So have a great day. Reach out with questions. Bye-bye.